know there are other things that Canada could do that other countries wouldn't be able to do just as well. Whether it's our expertise around humanitarian aid and around refugee status. There's a lot of people, refugees, displaced peoples fleeing violence who are facing a very, very cold winter in the mountains. If something Canada has expertise on, it's how to face a winter in the mountains with the right kind of equipment.
So like we could send them shovels and toques and warm blankets and maybe teach them how to use antifreeze. Yes, Justin Trudeau says Canada should not be dropping bombs on ISIS, not the enemy. Instead, he says Canada can best offer cold winter advice. Tell these people who are hungry, displaced, getting their heads chopped off under the continued threat of ISIS, maybe tips on how to shovel, how to clear a pathway, how to build a snowman. This is what Canada can offer. Simon Kent joining us this morning. You know, you don't want to joke about it, but I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, this is what he thinks we should be doing?
Quite incredible. I mean, he's making Jimmy Carter look like and sound like a foreign policy genius, and Neville Chamberlain being one of the great statesmen of the 20th century. I cannot believe those words came out of his mouth. The thing to do about these refugees, these displaced people, the people who are literally and figuratively running for their lives, is to end the threat. And you end the threat by, sadly, yes, bombing the perpetrators and going after the criminals of ISIS. And it's all very well to say we're going to teach people how to wear layers on their clothes when they go out, and don't forget your mittens. And you're right, perhaps a toque might be a really good idea. But
well, you have to have a head to put a toque on, you know, like, honestly. I just don't understand the rationale.
It is so naive, and it's the caring, sharing side of Justin Trudeau, which is a wonderful, beautiful thing. But I think when it comes to the hard politics of international diplomacy and saving lives, I don't really think this is going to cut much mustard on the international stage. It holds him up to ridicule. Mind you, Justin Trudeau can hold himself up to ridicule better than anyone can. And coming out with stuff like this is just, you'd ignore it if he wasn't trying to be serious.
Well, look, it will be ignored because the headlines this week are, of course, involving 2 MPs. So this likely fell under the radar. It didn't of our Josh Skirnick, who was at this conference where he was speaking. I think he was incredulous to the comment that was made. So he asked him a couple of times during a scrum afterwards if this is what he actually felt. And he didn't offer much more. He was also asked about, you know, which of the Western coalition members, like, who should be dropping the bombs if Canada should. And he wouldn't say, he refused to say who else should do the dirty work, but just Canada shouldn't be doing it. So he will not commit to any other solution.
No, it shows such a lack of policy definement by Justin Trudeau, a man who will speak on the run and really echo the thoughts of the last person he spoke to. It doesn't show a lot of depth. It doesn't show a lot of analysis. It doesn't show a lot of forethought. If he really aspires to the biggest job in the land, the greatest job in the land, to become Prime Minister, heaven help us all if that ever happens, but he's got to think things through. He's not an undergraduate anymore. This is where the grown-ups go, and this is what the grown-ups have to learn to say. It's called policy development.
Yeah, look, we've seen the tepid approach Mr. Obama has taken to foreign policy within the United States. The United States now leading from behind. They've fallen off as leading the world. Now Putin is considered the toughest guy on the go. If this is the approach Mr. Trudeau wants to take with Canada, we'll be completely, we won't even exist.
No, and his weakness will inspire all the enemies who'd seek to do Canada harm on the world stage. And you mentioned Vladimir Putin an hour ago. An hour ago, he sent troops and armoured personnel carriers into eastern Ukraine. Again, this is so familiar. He keeps on thumbing his nose at the world because he senses the weakness of people like Barack Obama, who always see the world as they want it to be rather than the way it is.
Yeah. Nonetheless, you know, we're starting to find out more details. I think a lot of people only, we only heard about the first initial drop on ISIS targets in Iraq. And now we're starting to find out more that Canada is actually having an impact on ISIS targets, expanding as far as Fallujah.
Yes, I saw Joe Warmington had an excellent piece on that, which is circulating now. I think Joe cut to the nub of this, that Canada is doing a lot of heavy lifting in coalition and working with the allies, the major allies there. And this is very much a NATO effort now. Canada is doing all they can with what they have and going after the people, the perpetrators, ISIS, and the people trying to overrun northern Iraq and Syria, which is great work for Canada. And it's really good that this is highlighted because Canada pulls its weight and Canada punches way above its weight as well.
Yeah. Interesting report coming out that jihadists in those from Western nations are no longer looking to airports to get out of the country, but instead they're booking trips on cruise ships to get and make their way over to Syria, to Turkey.
Maybe they think it's a love boat. Maybe they look for Captain Scoobing to go and get his autograph, and then they put on their Hawaiian shirts and their Ray-Ban sunglasses. But there are such porous borders between Turkey, Syria, and Iraq that they'll go by ship and get off in a port somewhere in the Bosphorus, or they'll go to any of the big port cities in Turkey, travel by bus. I've done it right around Turkey. The bus system is really good. They'll go up to the border, but this is just one more sign of how NATO has to work with all its coalition partners in NATO. Don't forget, Turkey is a member of NATO, and work in concert to stop these people travelling and deny them access.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I'm not joking when I say this, but I would have to think they'd be easily sussed out on a cruise ship. You know, they'd be covered head to toe and have a really long beard. And that's not to suggest those with beards don't take cruises, but they do tend, they would tend to stick out if you're going to a Caribbean destination. I mean, what the story illustrates is that CSIS and intelligence officials have the work cut out for them, because every time these guys, you know, are stonewalled, they find a different route. It's going to take a lot of help from the international community and from traveling folks to say, hey, look, something's out of place on this ship.
Well, exactly. I think they start to worry if they had the clay pigeon shooting off the rear deck of the ship and men with beards started turning up with their own AK-47s and firing practice rounds into the sea. I mean, that's being facetious, of course, but no, Turkey has to work with its allies and have a concerted policy and start checking the travel documents and bona fides of all the people travelling by ship to Bodrum and as I said, the Bosphorus and places like that, which are very popular with cruise ships travelling to Turkey, and work in concert with the cruise ship companies to give those people the same scrutiny they gave you or I or anyone else who get on an airplane and fly into Istanbul or Ankara and then seek to go to the war zone. Turkey has to try harder at the moment. It looks like it does everything with one hand tied behind its back and a smirk on its face.
Yeah, but that's because Turkey has its own interests in mind, and because it's such a fractured fight that we are fighting now. I mean, everyone seems to be working for themselves. It's almost impossible to think how this mission is going to succeed on any level unless everyone gets on the same page. Simon, I got to leave it there.